Hello, and welcome to Metabolism Engineering Internship, Day 1. Hey, this is a really fun unit. We had a great time doing this last year, so I'm really excited for you to be able to get into this. It is a much different experience than what we've been doing in Amplify so far. You are taking on the roles of interns. However, it's going to be you designing something. And there's this really great tool that we get to use online where you get to basically, I'll just give you the gist of it. You're going to make a energy bar, okay? And you get to choose the ingredients, and you're going to find out all sorts of stuff about the energy bar based on which ingredients that you put in and how much ingredients you put in. So it's really actually kind of fun. Students had a great time with it last year, and they actually ended up making energy bars. And I ate every single one of them. There was a taste test, a Mr. Wiggin taste test, and I ate every single one of the energy bars that the students made. Some of them were really good. Some of them were disgusting. But anyways, we will get to that later. But I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up of like where we're headed with this because it's kind of fun. So let's first talk about how do we even get to the workspace. When you open up Amplify, you're going to want to, let me go right now. No, not there. Oh, actually, yeah, let's just go here. So you're going to want to go all the way back out to the unit selection. You're going to click on Metabolism Engineering Internship. And it doesn't do it by lessons. It does it by days now. So there are 10 lessons. You're going to click on Health Bars for Disaster Relief. Oh, Health Bars. I said Energy Bar. It's a Health Bar. Same difference. Oh, they still do lesson 1.1. So there's 10 lessons, okay? But when you're actually in the workspace, in the Futura workspace, which we're going to go to in just 1 second, you'll see it's by days. So when you click on here, connecting to the Futura workspace, number 1. It shows you what you're going to see. You're going to click right here, Futura workspace. Hey, another way you can get to the Futura workspace is up here. If you scroll down to Futura workspace right there, where you have all of your sims, you can also connect to it that way if you don't see the link or you can't find the link in the actual Amplify lesson. Now, this is going to get a little bit confusing because you're going to be going back and forth a little bit from this right here, this space, the Amplify space, and the Futura workspace. You're going to have work to do in both, which is why it's very important for you to make sure that you're watching the videos and following along with the instructions so you know exactly what you're supposed to do, okay? So when you open up the Futura workspace, it should look something like this. And which one are we clicking on? Oh yeah, metabolism. That's what we want right there, okay? So let's go ahead and see what we are supposed to do. You're going to read your welcome message. You will start each day of your internship by reading a new message right there. Where do we find our message? Find your message right here, day 1. You're going to click on day 1 once you open up the Futura workspace, and there should be a message for you. I've also attached a video to this lesson made by Amplify that actually kind of walks you through the Futura workspace. Please watch that video. It will show you where to find everything, where to find the tool that we're going to be using, where to find your messages, how to make notes, because I will ask you to make notes. So please do watch that video, okay? So the first thing that I want you to do is go open the Futura workspace and go click on day 1 and read your message for today. Do that and come back to me. Introducing Futura. We're going to watch a video in just a minute. And you're going to meet this person right here, Amina Reed. So let me read this really quick. Welcome, engineering interns. I will be your internship coordinator, and I'll guide you through this project with Amina Reed, your project director. Now, Amina in this, she's my boss, okay? I'm just in charge of all of you to make sure you don't mess things up, right, and to help you along. But Amina, she's the one who's going to be giving you the jobs and giving you the tasks. And we're going to meet her in just a minute when we watch the other video that I've attached to this lesson. You're going to get feedback from Amina during this lesson. And you're going to say, oh, Mr. Wiggin, you're the one who wrote that feedback. And I'll tell you, nope, I didn't. Amina wrote it, not me. I did not give you that feedback. Some feedback I will give to you, but you're going to receive actually feedback from her about your project. So that's kind of fun. Let's talk about this really quick. Where have you heard the word engineer before? What kind of work do engineers do? Maybe some of you have parents or family members that are types of engineers. I just met someone who's an engineer the other day. He designs buildings and bridges. What about food engineers? What do you think they do? We'll talk about this when we come to class together. We'll talk about what is an engineer, what do they do, and just get your ideas on it. But essentially, all engineers design solutions to problems. That's what you and I do in this class, right? We're finding solutions to problems. Well, food engineers solve problems related to food materials, safety, storage, distribution. And that's what you're going to be working as, a food engineering intern. What about some of the foods you already know? Let's think about how they are made. And do you think there's some foods that are out there that maybe you eat on a daily basis or once in a while that may have been designed by an engineer? I don't know. No, Mr. Wiggin, I only eat vegetables from my garden. Okay, well, I don't know. Did you design that garden? Maybe you're the engineer. So we'll talk about that when we come together as a class too, and come up with some ideas for me. But do you think anything that you eat may have actually been designed by a food engineer? Now, here we go next. We're going to finally meet Amina. She has sent us a video. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go find the video on Google Classroom. And I want you to watch it. It is also on my YouTube channel. So go find the video with Amina Reed and come back to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed meeting Amina, your project director. She didn't really seem to like what that guy was cooking in the back there. It's getting there. That's not really constructive feedback, right? I mean, what do you mean it's getting there? Like, what, does it need more salt? Does it need more cumin? I don't know. But anyways, maybe they know. Maybe they have a code language. What are some goals that might be important to make sure your health bars are successful? Well, let's talk about that really quick, because she did mention these things called criteria, right? And let's find out more about what that. Criteria are the standards by which something may be judged. Now, there were three criteria for this project. What were they? Oh yeah, now I remember. She said that it has to meet the metabolic needs of the people who are eating it, that your health bar has to have a high taste score, right? Or else people just won't eat it, right? And of course, you got to keep costs low. I mean, anyone could make a health bar that tastes like out of this world delicious and meets huge, crazy, metabolic needs, but it might cost like thousands of dollars, right? So it's really hard, like she said, to address all three things. Sometimes we're really good at getting one, maybe even two of those criteria, but to get all three of those criteria, that might be really tough. And so we're going to have to keep trying new ways of making this health bar. Let's go back actually a little bit. Your internship will have 3 phases: research, design, and proposal. First is going to be research. That's what we're starting right now. So we're going to be learning a little bit more about metabolism. We've already learned a lot about metabolism, but we're going to be learning a little bit more. So let's talk about your actual workspace, the future workspace, because you're going to be using this again every single day for the next 10 days that we're doing this. You will get daily messages. You will get daily tasks. So you need to go check to see what kinds of things that you have done. Now, again, go watch that video that walks you through the future of workspace. If you have not done that already, please do that, because otherwise I know I'm going to get a lot of questions, people asking, how do I find this? Where do I find this? A lot of that stuff is answered in the video, and that's where I'll send you to, because they do a really good job of explaining it. Okay. So one of the things that we want to do right now is actually use this tool called Recipe Test. To test different designs for your health bars, you'll use a digital model called Recipe Test. This model predicts how well a bar will meet the project criteria. We're going to be using this a lot. during this whole internship process. So engineers use models like recipe tests to predict what will happen. Hey, we used models, didn't we? In the metabolism unit, we had a model of the human body. We would feed it different things. We would give it different conditions. And we use that model to see, hey, how might this type of thing affect a person? With a model, we can change variables and see what outcomes happen as a result. The variables that we're changing here in recipe tests are the ingredients. So let's talk about this. Recipe test is accurate in many ways. The ingredient details are based on ingredients used in snack and health foods in the real world. The test users have metabolic needs similar to different populations of people. But like any model, recipe test is simplified and inaccurate in some ways, just like our model that we used for metabolism. It wasn't perfect, right? The human body doesn't actually look like that inside, but it was helpful, wasn't it, to simplify certain things to help us understand things a little bit better. Recipe test is similar. So what you're going to do, you're going to open it up. It's the top right button in the future workspace. And what I want you to do is just explore it. I want you to start just exploring, pressing buttons, trying to figure out how it works. And one of the things that I want you to think about as you go through and as you test different parts of it, think about what ways it's accurate, what things seem like, wow, that's actually really good, and what things seem like, oh, that's pretty simplified. I see what they did there. We're going to talk about that when we come back together as a class, what you thought was pretty accurate and what you thought was a little bit simplistic. Next thing, we're going to do a little bit of reading again about metabolism. Hey, this is good. We have some background here, don't we? And that'll be helpful as we do this reading. So where do we find this reading? You will open it up in the Amplify main website. There will be a link there. There also should be a link in the Future Workspace. But you will be able to find this table of contents where you can navigate to different chapters. So that'll be really helpful. Make sure you use that. Otherwise, it might be a little bit more difficult to actually find these chapters. So we're going to read which chapter? Chapter 2. Okay. So let's talk about this. Engineers read like scientists, reading multiple times, making connections to things they already know about, and asking critical questions. As engineering interns, you should practice these skills just as you have been doing in science class by using active reading. Remember, using active reading, connecting things, writing out questions as we have them, and then seeing if those questions get answered later on, and also sharing our ideas later on too. So go ahead and read that section, metabolic needs, understanding metabolic needs in your dossier, and make your annotations, submit those annotations, and then come back to me. Lastly is your after hours work, also known as homework, right? For this, you're going to read something else too. You're going to read the request for proposal in the dossier. Read and annotate chapter 1 and then submit your annotations. So the request for proposals, this is what we talked about in the very beginning. Amina said that we received a request for proposals. And what that is people are asking, hey, we need people to make this for us. Who can make this? And then we read that request and we say, well, I think I can make it. And then we go to this process of what we're doing right now. We're now going to try to make and fill this request, and we're going to ultimately submit a proposal to them. By the end of this engineering internship, we're going to submit our design, our health bar, and we're going to tell them why they should basically go with us, why they should buy our health bar. So read this. This is, again, your homework. And once you do that, make sure you submit your annotations, and you're done.